Hi guys, welcome back to another Colorful Keto with Dory. So we were going to do something different this evening, but we're going to do just a quick supper for my house. Now I was going to do a cream of tomato soup and grilled cheese, but I came into my house and I flooded my kitchen. So we're just going to do a quick soup. Now I know you guys have heard me say on more than one occasion that I make homemade soup and it's just as quick as opening up a can and making it. So I wanted to show you guys how I make homemade soup and how it's just as quick as opening up a can. So while we're signing on, I'm going to take out a can and I'm going to just give you an idea of what you find in a can of tomato soup. So for half of a cup, which is 125 mils, so approximately half of the can, which is about what an adult serving would be, it has 22 grams of carbs, 2 of fiber, so you can remove the fiber, so 20 grams of carbs and 13 grams of sugar in one serving of your average condensed tomato soup. So I'm going to show you guys how I make tomato soup at home. Now I start with either fresh, frozen, or canned tomatoes, and it doesn't matter as long as they're not sugar added canned. So we're going to throw them into my blender, my Ninja. And I'm going to blend them a little bit at a time. And then I'm going to add to it a little bit of mushroom and some leek. And then we're going to add some leek in there. Now, you can use whatever vegetables you like, garlic, onions, leek, whatever you have on hand. This is just my quick whip it together soup, and we're going to add to that some minced garlic, a nice good teaspoon. And then we're just going to puree that. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that up so you can see a little bit better. And I'm going to get a little bit of water to add to it to help it mix. Now, depending on how thick a soup you want, you're going to want to add a couple of cups of water depending on consistency of soup. Now, I use this same recipe for any of my red tomato pasta sauces as well. So we're going to add the rest of the tomatoes. Hello, my lovely from across the pond. So tonight we are making homemade cream of tomato soup. Now in here I had my first 4 tomatoes and I put a couple mushrooms and a little hunk of leek. So this is the same recipe I use for any of my tomato soups, any of my tomato pasta bases. Now you can use fresh tomatoes, you can use frozen, or you can use canned. It doesn't matter. The only thing is if you're using canned, you want to make sure there's no extra sugar added. Tomatoes will have a little bit of naturally occurring sugar, so you just want to check the ingredients for added sugar. So, and then we're just going to puree it. And that's it. So when I tell you guys that I make homemade soup and it's just as quick and easy as opening a can, that's it. That's homemade soup. This we heat, we season, we simmer, and that's it. So for the cream of tomato soup at the end, we're gonna add heavy whipping cream. If you're dairy free, you can use coconut milk instead. I've got a little chunk in there. I'm gonna take that out and reblend up my big pieces. Now, mine isn't red yet because these are frozen from raw tomatoes. So as it cooks, it will redden up and you'll see the nice tomato color. But these I blanched and froze from raw. And again, you can make this soup with frozen, with fresh, with canned tomatoes. It does not matter. You can add whatever additional vegetables you like. I saw someone posting in my support group that their husband won't eat vegetables. So this is an awesome dish to sneak in those sneaky veggies on your family because you're pureeing. So no one is going to realize that there are, if there's extra broccoli in there or cauliflower in your tomato soup, no one will be the wiser but you. So this is a base of approximately 4 cups of tomatoes. So a big can, 6 frozen tomatoes, 6 fresh. And then whatever vegetables you want, we're going to add some Italian herb to it. And we're going to add a little bit of Himalayan salt and some cracked pepper. And that's it. That's tomato soup. Now, if you want to take this same base and use it for a tomato sauce, then you just thicken it once it simmers. And to thicken, I use either ground flax. I've heard a lot of people say that psyllium husk thickens really nice. So depending on the texture of the sauce that you want, you have a few different options for thickening agents. So I'm going to turn this to a decent heat and let it simmer. So I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about what's in a can, because for me, I used to buy a lot of canned soups, and not only did I buy them to eat them, they were the base of a lot of my foods. So I put canned tomato soup in my pasta sauces. I put it in my casseroles. I used to put it in things like meatloaf. I mean, I put it in a lot of things. So the nutritional information on this is for half of a cup, which is approximately half of the can, which in all honesty, I think would be an adult serving if you were making soup. Technically, it's supposed to be 4 servings, but let's be honest, we all eat half of a can. So in half of the can, you are getting 22 grams of carbs and 2 of fiber. So 20 grams of net carbs and 13 grams of sugar in just your standard no-name tomato soup. So what we're making at home today is from frozen tomatoes, and we added just a little bit of vegetables. Now, if you were going to make this from, say, for example, a can of tomatoes as opposed to a can of tomato soup, this has, for the same half cup serving, 5 grams of carbs, 1 of fiber, so 4 net grams of carbs, and 3 grams of sugar, which is naturally occurring sugar from the tomatoes because there's no sugar added in the ingredients. So we go from a can of soup with 20 grams of carbs to a homemade soup with approximately 4 grams of carbs and only natural sugar, just as quick and easy as you would open up a can. So I'm going to bring this over there so you guys can see the texture of it, and then as it cooks, it will get a little bit more red, because right now it still kind of looks a little bit orangey. Let me just tip you down there so you can see texture-wise. And the longer you simmer it, the better it's going to taste. But as soon as it's heated through, it's ready to serve. And you can serve it with your cream on the side. If you wanted to have a cold gazpacho, you could do that with, and I probably said that wrong, but you could do it with a canned tomato. I wouldn't try to do it with a frozen. But I actually think I might try something like that. I was talking to somebody about smoothies, green smoothies, and I can't do smoothies, but I think I might could do a cold soup. So I might take a look at that maybe a little bit next week. Tomorrow at lunchtime, we're doing a kids' lunch with the Countess of Low Carb. And we're going to remake an awesome macaroni and cheese dish that fell apart on me last time. So fingers crossed, I'm going to pre-prepare the pasta. And we're going to make a mermaid macaroni and cheese, a dinosaur macaroni and cheese. We're going to do keto chicken nuggets. And we're going to do a keto goldfish recipe. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys have small kids, if you know small kids, if you just like food that kids like, tomorrow might be your day. It might be the way to kick off your Friday snacks. So I'm going to let this simmer for a few minutes, and I'm going to get my salad ready for the rest of my supper. And as soon as I sit down and I've got the pretty pictures of it, I'll post it for you guys. And let's hang out tomorrow at lunchtime, and depending on how late it gets, because I did flood my kitchen, if I have time, I'll let you guys hop on and make the pasta with me so that we can see how it's pre-made for tomorrow. Thanks for popping in, guys. See you later.